How you doing? I'm good. Excuse me. Ready? Oh, yeah, we ready. Okay. I'm on the wrong committee. Still on the wrong. Good afternoon. This is the Equity, Community Affairs, Housing, Health, and Education Committee. I am the chair, Councilwoman Barbara Shanklin. With me is my vice chair, Councilman Stuart Benson, Councilman Tammy Hawkins. She's not here yet, but she will be. Councilman Dan Simon Jr. Councilmember Marcus Winkler has excused absence, or he may come on because he's out of town. Councilwoman Jenny Warridge and Councilman Khalil, Bashar, are here to talk with us today also. We have a special discussion, and we have 4 things on the agenda. We're going to start out with the number 4. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to read the?
We don't have to, we don't have anything. It's not virtual.
Okay, good.
Oh, okay.
So we can't join virtual.
Okay, thank you. So the first one, can you read? We're going to start with number 4, please.
Item 4?
Uh-huh.
Item 4, a resolution honoring the Honorable J. Michael Brown by dedicating the corners of 18th and 19th Street at their intersection in Madison Street as J. Michael Brown Way in his honor. Read in full.
Thank you. You have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. You have someone here. I was prepared to read for you. Okay.
Oh, okay.
No, go ahead. Yeah, he called me.
Hi, my name is Taylor Bass. I'm the legislative assistant for Councilman Ken Herndon under District 4. Our office was contacted by One West. They are wanting to do an honorary street sign unveiling during the One West grand reopening for the renovated space on June 27th, honoring the Honorable J. Michael Brown.
Okay. Anyone have any comments, concerns? I do want to say I've known Michael J. Brown since, oh God, for years, and knew his wife real well and family. So a wonderful man to know. Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any comments or anything? Don't see anyone. So we will be, well, I'm ready to vote. Are we ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
And we will, no, so we will be sending it to consent calendar.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Number 3. Is that the one with Tammy? She's not here yet. No, that was Khalil. Am I right, Khalil?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There's someone, but for number 3, is there someone here to speak about the property?
No, we got them backwards. We were going 4, 3, 2, 1.
Even though Tammy's not here, there is someone else here to talk about it.
Oh, it is someone? Oh, okay,
Yeah, she's not going to be the one to speak to it.
okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. Councilman Khalil, you can
No.
go. We got to read it.
Read.
Read it.
Number 3.
3. Mhm.
Okay. Item 3, a resolution determining the property located at 3021 and 3042 Wilson Avenue, 3028 Wilson Avenue, 3038 Wilson Avenue, 3044 Wilson Avenue, and 3017 Wyandotte Avenue as a surplus and not needed for the governmental purpose and authorizing their transfer. Read in full.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, I guess I had wrote down, he wrote them down backwards, and 3 should have been number 2, but we're going on. You have someone, okay, you have someone here
Good
to speak.
afternoon. I'm Marilyn Harris. I'm the Senior Housing Policy Advisor for the City of Louisville. This is a project that we started working on over a year ago, and the vacant land at these addresses, 3032, 3042, 3021 Wilson Avenue, used to be the site of a grocery. It is now an abandoned, well, it was an abandoned piece of property, and by abandoned, I mean not in use, not that it wasn't being taken care of. We have a lease with Mahant, and for the property, we are trying to surplus that property so that it can be used for Park Deval Health Center, for a grocery, a farmer's market on the site, and to utilize the indoor space for food education and cooking classes. And so we are just requesting that this property be surplus so that we can sell it to them and transfer the property to them so that they can use it.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or concerns? No. Oh, you do? Councilman Benson?
Ma'am, when you sell it, is that is that $1 or is it
Yes.
some value?
It would be $1, yes. We have a long-standing lease on the property right now, and that lease, they will take ownership of that lease with Mahant. They operate is it a Dollar General? Either a Dollar General or a Family Dollar, that's what it is, a Family Dollar.
So they're just taking ownership of the lease.
They're taking ownership of the property and the lease because there are two buildings. One is the Family Dollar, the other used to be a Save-A-Lot grocery. The Save-A-Lot is empty, and they want to use it for their food, health, and community space.
Thank you.
I remember a few years ago, when they put that grocery store in there, I know Councilwoman Woolridge, she fought really hard to get that grocery store right there in that
Yes, ma'am.
area. So my concern is, Tammy's right on time, is about putting, but that's Councilwoman Hawkins' area, another dollar store and a general dollar in our low-income areas.
That is not the intended purpose. The Family Dollar is already there on the property. The vacant building is where the Save-A-Lot used to be. And there are 5 pieces of land that make up this kind of corner of Wilson, is it Wyandotte?
Yes.
What is it? I can't hear you. Algonquin, sorry, Algonquin and Wilson. And so some of them front Algonquin, some of them front Wilson. We are just combining all of those and then deeding it to Park Deval Health Center so they can use it for their farmer's market and grocery and food training center. They want to teach people how to cook healthily.
For some reason, I thought you said dollar store and general dollar.
Their Family Dollar is on it
It's already-
operates out of one of the 2 buildings.
So it's already there?
It's already there, been there for many years.
Okay. Councilwoman Hawkins, you have something to say?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Chair. Thanks for being here today. I definitely support this. That area has been crying for fresh vegetables, fruit, healthy foods, and it's definitely, and a grocery store. So we need a grocery store over. So I support this. I've been in conversation with Swanee Jet about this, and hope everybody else can support it. So I do, and thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if you're for it, then I guess the rest of us will be for it. All in favor? No, so we will send this to the consent calendar. All right, thank you. That was number 3. Number 2.
Item 2, an ordinance amending Chapter 90 of the Louisville Metro Code of Ordinance, LMCO, read in full.
Second.
Yes, ma'am. Is that yours, Councilman? Which one was that one?
Number 2.
Yeah, number 2. Well, they got it backwards on my page. Councilman
Khalil,
Khalil?
is this yours?
I think we have public health here to speak on it,
Okay.
and I can answer a few questions if needed.
Thank you, council. Yes, this is just an amendment to our current non-smoking ordinance for our tobacco licensing. Yes, I'm sorry. I think everybody knows me. I am Patrick Rich. I am the Executive Administrator, Louisville Metro Public Health and Wellness, and I run the smoke-free / tobacco retail licensing program. This amendment is just some changes we've added to help make sure we are being inclusive of all the items that are being sold currently at the tobacco stores and vape shops. The main changes here are basically to improve Some of the things that are there, the kratom is being included because it wasn't named specifically in the ordinance beforehand. And some of those, it's a loophole that could be exploited at a later date. We want to make sure that that's filled in. We also want to make sure that we're able to give some of the licensing ability to a designee of our director right now. Anything that needs to be revoked or needs to be denied has to go through their office. Whereas we obviously have administrators who can take care of that function. And I think the other big change here was requiring a floor plan. We've been asking for anybody who's putting in an application to submit a floor plan for us so we can make sure that the percentage of sales space dedicated to tobacco sales is accurate. It hasn't been a requirement, but it's been something we've been asking, and this would make that a requirement.
Good. Councilwoman, do you have any comments, concerns, or?
Thank you, Ms. Chair. Thank you, Patrick. We appreciate your, for working on this with us and making this happen. We want to also just kind of, on page 2, we scratched 18 to 21 years of age for the age limit to be able to purchase in these stores. I think these changes are a significant way forward in regards to making sure that we are abiding by the law and making sure that we don't have a lot of bad actors out there anymore that are trying to skate through by saying they're opening a convenience store and getting away with that 1,000-foot rule and by offering the floor plan and so on. So we really appreciate your work at Public Health and the fact that we're allowing other designees to be able to help revoke these licenses for the bad actors is going to be a step forward in our community. Absolutely. So thank you. I look for everybody's support to move this forward.
Okay.
I got a question.
Sure. Any more concerns?
Okay. I guess it's really to my colleague, but, so was it an age restraint on that? Did I hear something about an age? Did you say something about 18, 21?
Yes, the federal law is 21, is considered a minor as far as tobacco sales go. And our reg, was it is originally written, used the definition of minor as 18, which was the common misnomer. So we wanted to make sure that that aligned better with the federal.
So are you saying that it's 18 or 21?
21.
21, okay. So I just want to say this on the record. You can be 21 about tobacco, but you can be 18 about gun. Thank you.
Things we will work on moving forward.
One at a time.
Okay, this is an ordinance, then I guess we're going to vote.
Can I interrupt you? I'm sorry. So this is Sonia Harwood, the Metro Council Clerk. I would like to request if we could possibly make an amendment to the title simply for purposes of researching later. The title would end with regarding smoking retail stores so that it's defined, because right now it just tells you that we're amending Chapter 90. We should write why we're amending, if you don't
We
mind.
have an amendment before us, and we'll vote on that. Right.
Can we get a
We'll make that motion.
Okay.
Motion to amend?
Yep. We have second? Okay. So before us, we have an amendment to the ordinance asking to change the name. The title, name. All in favor? Aye. Any noes? So now we'll be voting on the new ordinance. So with this one, it's not a voice vote, it has to be a vote on the screen. Everybody ready to vote?
Ms. Chair, do I get a vote or no? Okay.
You don't?
It's not like zoning.
That's only in planning and
Okay,
zoning,
gotcha.
sir.
Vote is open.
Everybody voted?
Councilmember Hawkins? Voting's closing. Chair Shankman, you got 5 yes votes.
Okay. So we will be sending this to the old business since it's an ordinance. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, I've got to make sure I've got on. We just got one more, so. Okay. Next, we have a special discussion. The special discussion is an overview of the Office of Housing and Community Development. Can you state your name for the?
I'm Laura Grabowski, and I'm the Director of the Office of Housing and Community Development.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for having me here today. We've got a few slides to go over. I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk. We've had some changes in our department, and I know that Metro Council has had some new members, so it's good to come over here and talk about the work that our team does. I've got a little bit of an overview of our department and as well as some current initiatives that we're working on. So we'll start with the mission statement, which we retooled last year, that we implement. We have essentially two sides of our department. We work on creating and preserving affordable housing throughout the community, and we work on vacant and abandoned property efforts, specifically in neighborhoods with high concentrations of vacant properties. Just to give you a little bit of an overview of our team, we have about 50 team members, and they are organized into these teams. So we have, starting with housing strategy and development, these are the programs that many of you may be familiar with. So down payment assistance, our financing that we offer through what we call a NOFA every year for affordable housing developers. We do have some oversight over external agencies, including the trust fund. And of course, we are heavily funded by the city's HUD dollars, so we have plans and reporting. That particular team is led by Michelle Rogers, our assistant director. Then we have neighborhood stabilization, which is essentially all of the chronic vacant and abandoned property programs like that you're familiar with, foreclosure, demolition, the land bank, and then one new program that we'll talk about in a little bit, which is our lien waiver pilot program. We have housing stabilization. Neighborhood stabilization is led by Executive Administrator Tia Bowman. Housing stabilization, led by Megan McGinn, is all of our home repair, which you actually heard from at your last committee meeting about our home repair needs assessment. And Megan's team worked very, very hard on the eviction prevention money that we had through COVID that is essentially transitioning over to Office of Social Services now. Public land activation is a new team that we have, led by Ronrico Williams, where we're taking publicly owned land, Metro-owned land, land bank land, and trying to see what we can do for public use on that land. And then finally, client services, led by Hetty Bailey, our executive administrator. She handles all of our community engagement, and her team handles all of any client complaints. So we certainly hope that council members don't need to contact client services, but if they do, that's where to go. So the two sides of our department, we'll start with affordable housing. We are very busy working toward the mayor's goal of building and creating and preserving 15,000 units of housing. We do have a dashboard. You can see how to find that dashboard online. It regularly updates, and I will say regularly, I think this number was as of May, so we're hoping to have a new number by the end of the summer. But it pulls from all of the programs that the city sponsors, including the trust fund. So the affordable housing developers that we provide financing for, the small developers, down payment assistance, home repair, all of those programs filter up, and you'll see a number for which projects are underway and which projects are completed. And you will see, as the next 18-ish months go, that number go up. Our current initiatives are some that you may not be as familiar with. We did launch this year a small developer loan program. We talked a little bit about that at our budget hearing. This year, it took a little bit to get out the door, but it was very successful. Once it was launched, we received a decent amount of applications pretty early on, and so we've been able to commit almost $2 million in financing to smaller developers, and that will rehab 29 units. We are hopeful in the fiscal year 26 budget to do another round of that program, retooling it a little bit with the hope that we can help build capacity around the smaller developers and turn them into medium developers and then ultimately large developers. Also, you all heard from our consultant, Karen Black. We just finished up this home repair needs assessment. And so there's a new collaboration, the Louisville Home Repair Network, that is made up of nonprofits working on homeowner repair. So the goal this upcoming year is for those members of that network to move towards centralized intake, so that when you have constituents that are looking for home repair and in somewhat of a anxious state because they have a hole in their roof or they don't have a furnace, instead of having to call 7 different places to see if there's help, they're calling one place and being able to get the information that they need. That's our goal for this next year. And then you may have heard about, and you will hear about, more of our publicly owned land projects. We have a few of these under construction right now. Veterans Village out off Dixie Highway, the Community Care Campus, and the Chancery Permanent Supportive Housing. So these are properties that Metro either owned or acquired, and are working on turning into some sort of housing use. So to switch over to our VAP strategies, I just wanted to kind of clarify that, I know that you all as council members are familiar with codes and regs. They deal with vacant properties all day long. Their property maintenance officers are the ones that provide us that information. Our team deals with chronic vacant and abandoned properties. So, if there's a property that becomes vacant once, codes goes out and cites it, and it comes back into compliance, that's not a house or a property that we get involved with. Our team really deals with the chronic vacant and abandoned properties. So that we're talking about vacant plus one of those two of those four, properties, delinquent taxes. It's really deteriorated. So we really want to get into the houses that are truly abandoned, that nothing is going to happen without government intervention. So right now you'll see the list, the tall list of red are the strategies that we have in place. We do have a cross-functional team at Metro that takes a look at these chronic vacant and abandoned properties to see what can we do about the ownership, which is more long-term, and then what can we do about the property itself. So does the property, is there trouble with people getting in the property that shouldn't be in there? Does it need to be clearboarded? Is the property historic and maybe it needs, we're worried that it's going to have to be demolished, so we need to stabilize it. And then on the other side, can we foreclose on it? Do we need a conservator? Can we find somebody and they donate it? Those are the types of strategies that we're looking for. And you can see some of the numbers that we do per year. So with the funding that we have, we are able to initiate foreclosure on 150 to 200 a year. We do accept around 30 properties as a donation. Demolition goes up and down depending on the size of the house, of course, but we're at about 80 to 100 a year. Land bank we'll talk about in a minute because we've got some new initiatives coming up with that, but our acquisition and disposition numbers have evened out around 100 to 150-ish over the past couple of years, but we're expecting that to come up. And just to remind everybody that our goal with these chronic vacant and abandoned properties is to get an occupied, compliant property and responsible ownership. So whatever we can do to help with that, that's what we're doing. So just to highlight a couple of initiatives on the VAP land. We are really excited about this program that we were able to launch this year. We're calling it the Affordable Housing Lien Forgiveness Pilot Program, but it is a way that the city can intervene in a private transaction without taking ownership of a property, without spending any money in the property. What we are doing is if a developer can find the owner of a property that the city has assumed to be abandoned, and they are willing to purchase it from the private owner and rehab it and turn it into affordable housing, we will waive the code enforcement liens on that property. So where it is likely that those liens that had added up are probably not collectible anyway by the owner, in this scenario, we are forgiving those. They turn into essentially a second mortgage, and then the property is rehabbed and sold. So you're seeing the first one that has actually been completed. We have 6 6 underway, with another 4 in the pipeline. It just launched in January. And so we're hoping to see a lot more traction on this. It is a piece of the vacant and abandoned property puzzle. It's certainly not the whole puzzle, but it is one tool that we've launched this year and has been pretty successful already. Finally, our other 2 current initiatives that we have that I wanted to share about today. The Land Bank received a grant a couple of years ago to start something that we're calling L Tools, but it is a mobile reservable tool library full of lawn maintenance equipment that neighborhood groups, it can't be individuals, it needs to be groups, neighborhood organizations can reserve. And it has lawnmowers and batteries and weed whackers and anything for lawn maintenance. Our crew at Codes and Regs will bring the tool trailer to wherever the neighborhood organization needs it, and they can reserve it online. So if you have constituents or neighborhood organizations interested in this, to do a cleanup, they want to mow their own lawns, they want to mow, on their block, great. We just launched it this season, so we've had it at a couple of events. We've had a lot of interest in it, but you can reserve it online, and there's a link there. And then finally, next week, the Louisville Land Bank, which, as a reminder, is a partnership between the city, the state, and the school board, will be voting on some new programs that will allow multi-parcel sales. The Land Bank historically has sold properties one at a time, and that's worked for a while. But now, with an inventory of over 800 parcels, we're ready to take a look at developers that have capacity, that are have a plan and have proof of funding, and we are presenting that to the board to have them approve programs that will allow multiple parcels for agencies to purchase more than one parcel at a time. So just to finish up, this is our contact information. We are happy to have anybody contact us. We have the website, we have a phone number. We do have an email listserv. We promise we will not spam you, but we will send out, it's pretty much once a month, a newsletter and or information about the land bank meetings. If your constituents have organizations, churches, neighborhood organizations that you would like to hear about one or more of our programs, please contact us. We are happy to come out, and you can see some of the pictures where we were doing some education and tabling some events. We are looking forward to having funding after the beginning of the new fiscal year, and so we would like small and large developers alike to apply for financing, and of course, everyone is welcome to attend or watch a land bank meeting, which is usually on the second Monday of the month. So with that, I will stop talking finally and see if you all have any questions or if you want me to go in depth on anything else.
One on the repair, how did they go about, calling one of these numbers about repair? Is it by income or what is something similar to what that home affair? No, is that the one? The home affair.
New Directions, the repair affair.
New Directions.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So
home affair too, I think.
Yes. Exactly. So our department has done, we've run a home repair program for a lot of years. And so to answer your question, the city, we do not have an open home repair program right now. There will be, we are expecting to be able to open a home repair program up after the beginning of the fiscal year, probably in a couple of months. Those repairs will be administered by our subrecipients, by nonprofits. That's when Karen Black was here for May 8 Consulting, providing some recommendations. One of those recommendations was for Metro, for us to get out of that direct service and to let the nonprofits do that and have Metro provide funding and an oversight of that. So when that opens up, we will make sure that all the council members are aware of what number that is. I'm hesitant to give anything out now because we need to make sure of what the actual process will be.
What happens to the people that's already on the New Direction list? they've got a long list. So what happens to those that's still on that list?
I don't know exactly, and I don't want to speak for New Directions, but I know that that when our consultant was looking into the different nonprofits that ran home repair, some people kept waiting lists, some people didn't. We, the city, we don't keep a waiting list. We opened, and then we would say, we can fund this many people, and then everybody else would get a letter saying, we don't have funding for you. I don't know specifically about New Directions, but I can absolutely find that out and get back with you.
Because I've got a little lady that's been on that list forever, and she calls every day, and all she wants is to get her sink fixed. But, I just couldn't understand it, that she's filled out the paperwork, she's done everything she's supposed to do, but that list, it's been on there. And so if we closing out one, who's going to pick up that, those things? It's almost like we closing out things and there's a gap there, and you're leaving these people that need assistance just out there thinking that they're going to get a call, which they're not.
Let me follow up with you about that specific client, and we can at least get an answer on what's going on there. I will say that when our consultant, that was one of the reasons we really wanted that needs assessment done, because, to your point, there is so much more need than anyone had funding for. Metro, New Directions, donations, any of that. Karen Black came back with, there is likely estimate of 29,000 homeowners in need of assistance, and there was maybe 1,000 getting served, and that's not just from Metro, that's from the whole, anyone, all those organizations providing home repairs. So there is definitely a need out there, but for that specific client, I don't know what that situation is, so let me follow up with you, and I'll make that connection with New Directions and see if we can at least get an answer of what's happening there.
Right.
We don't want people who have already applied and think they're on a waiting list to be falling through the cracks.
Right. This lady she sort of has some mental problems, so she doesn't understand the system. And it's bad enough that she doesn't understand it, and she calls every day, and I talk to her about it, but she never gets a call back. And she still, she said, well, can I go pay somebody to do it? I told her, just wait, and we'll see if they're going to come and fix it. But it's heartbreaking to see people go through this, and nobody returns their call. And so I just have a problem with that.
Absolutely. I have a problem with that as well. And I will say that is there is no excuse for that. And that is one reason why we, I think collectively as the network of home repair providers, we really want to go to that centralized intake so that the client itself, their client themselves has one place to call, that one place has the status and understands how to manage the expectations going forward. We're not quite there yet, but that's where we're heading.
Okay. I have another question, but I'll wait until after you are finished. Councilman Sine, please.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. A couple questions after listening to your presentation. Have we identified the vacant properties in Louisville? Do we have a map? Are they identified both commercial and residential?
Yes, for the most part. It's a complicated question because it changes frequently, but yes, we generally know when we're talking about those chronic vacant properties, which is vacant plus a couple of other factors, we have a general idea of where those are and where they're concentrated.
One of the things I've asked for is a map, find out what these areas are. Are any of these buildings that are there, can they be converted? And I see that we can build a Dollar General in 4 weeks, but we can't convert a warehouse to put some of these people that are living on concrete. I'm wondering about that. But do you have a map of the areas of properties you've served already?
Yes.
Is that
for vacant and abandoned properties?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Yes, if we don't have it, we can get it easily. We can send it.
And where would you say a lot of that is focused on?
The areas of concentration are generally in the west, but it's not. We have it at the census tract level. That's generally our goal, is to focus on the census tracts that have more than 4% of vacant and abandoned properties. And so they are where, you would imagine they are, where you can drive through and see that, it's not just one house, but it's multiple houses. But I can follow up and get you that.
Yeah, I'd like to
information as
find
well.
out where the
Sure.
concentration is, because I
Absolutely.
live in the area that's not focused on at all, and in Fairdale. And
Yeah.
there's no focus. And it's because there's not been any advocates in that area, and that's what I'm doing. That I'm advocating for the area, and I want to find out what you're doing south of the waters and where our money's going there. Project managers, do you have issues with project managers?
We have project managers on our team. When you mean issues, do you mean hiring?
Hi, I'm worried about, do you have enough people project managers, and do you subcontract to get these issues taken care of in a timely manner instead of waiting like pouring molasses with metro government?
So I think that, so we do have project managers. I want to say we have 6 or 7. I think the difference from our team, from project managers at some of the other agencies, is we are mostly overseeing development projects. So the developer itself has a project manager. They've got a construction manager. We are overseeing that. We're acting a little bit like the bank. So for us, we do contract out certain things, scopes of work for big buildings, and I'm trying to think of other things that we contract out. But most of the time, we are dealing with it in-house.
Okay. I would like to get the information on the mapping,
Sure.
if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. We can follow up with that.
Thank you, Ms. Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I need to go back to where Councilwoman Shanklin was talking about this lady with a bad sink. So is this a government assisted house? Is this a government assisted house?
I don't think so.
Oh, this is somebody that's in a neighborhood that said, hey, I got a bad sink?
Oh, she's an elderly
Yeah.
woman. She applied for, I forgot the name of it already.
Repair affair
Either one of those.
or home repair.
I gave her the number for both,
Okay.
and she never got a call back.
There's somebody that she calls is supposed to be helpful, or is that?
Right.
I don't understand. I'm not in.
Well, they've got that program that's supposed to help them once they fill out and if they meet the qualifications, am I right?
Yes, I would really like to hear about the details, obviously not in this forum. We have had a home repair program in the past where our team would take calls and take intake. We have also supported nonprofits, and those nonprofits run their own programs. So there are a lot of options here to your question about, who was supposed to call back, where did this person come from, and I don't know that right this second. What I do know is that we as a community, not just the city, but we as a community, we do not have enough funding to help people like this person that Dr. Shanklin is talking about, that are elderly, that have a fixed income, that cannot afford, they need to stay in their house because it's the most affordable one that they have, but they can't afford to fix some of the things that go wrong. So, longer term, we need a bigger, we need more options for those people. But specifically on this one, I would like to follow up after to figure out what program is it that she is thinking that she applied to and who is supposed to be doing what, so we can get to the bottom of that.
Well, to me, I can't imagine if somebody's got a sink, it doesn't work. I mean, I could handle that personally. And to me, and she's wanting to maybe even pay for it or something, she needs help. And if maybe I'd go fix it myself. Government it teaches people not to be useful. And I hate that. If you find a way that you can solve a problem. Years ago, a person had a tree fell into a cemetery in one of my subdivisions, and they wanted me to get a dumpster to put the tree in. I went over and looked at it. I think time I get a dumpster or something, you're talking about, go through paperwork, 3 months. So I went over with my chainsaw and my chipper, and I chipped it all up, and the guy come up and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm getting rid of this tree." And he said, "Who told you could do that?" I said, "I didn't know I had to have permission." so who are you? I said, I'm nobody, but my name is Stuart Benson, I'm your councilman. He said, oh, well, you're not supposed to do this. I said, I'm supposed to do anything I want, as long as I'm not hurting anybody. I didn't get a permit. Maybe I should have got a permit and got everybody, 4 or 5 people from the government come and watch me or something. But I thought it'd easy, just go ahead and do it. And pretty much I like to, fix things. And we need to get going. And this woman with a bad sink, that makes me sick. If she's old and you have a house, can you imagine what the rest of the house is like if you can't use a sink? I mean, it bothers me. We're supposed to be helpful, and the least of us is always somebody supposed to pick up and go. You might need to give me that woman's name. This is terrible.
Yeah, my problem, my concerns is I've given her the 2 numbers, one with repair affair and the other one new directions. And I think she filled out the application, but anytime I call her, she'll say, well, she calls me every day. And I said, well, have they called or anything? And she said, no, nobody's called. She said, well, I called this guy, you want me to get him to fix it for me? I got $200. And I said, no, just wait until you hear from her. But see, she's struggling as it is. And my concern is a lot of these agencies, they don't call you back. And that's why I'm thinking with this new program, it's going to leave a gap in between it. They're already not getting calls back and they're not getting, and that's a simple fix, She's not asking for somebody to build something on her house or whatever. All she's asking for is somebody to fix her kitchen sink.
I think, Madam Chair, that what I will add is that there is a gap now. There really is. I mean, we do, the story that you have, our team hears that from quite a lot of people per day, as does New Directions and Habitat. And I guess I am singly optimistic that if we can get the groups together and have one place where people are coming in, that they have a better chance to get served than if they're, that particular client is having to call 7 different agencies. I totally agree with you that, there needs to be better customer service and we need to have better answers for people and we need to manage people's expectations better. I don't think that switching to, a centralized intake, which we're going to try, we're going to pilot it, we're going to see if it works, but it is not going to create a gap. I think it's going to fill the gap that we currently have, because right now people are bouncing around because, we might think that New Directions has funding and they might think that Habitat has funding, and so people are being told to, go to different places when at the end of the day, there's not funding.
All they would have to do is just send out something to the council people, letting them know that they're out of funding, so we wouldn't refer our clients or constituents to that anymore.
Right, you're right.
And so if we knew more information, then I would have told the lady that, I wouldn't have given her the phone numbers.
Well, that specific situation, like I said, I'd like to follow up with you because it sounds a little different since she was able to fill out an application. There are certainly a lot of people that, when we answer the phone, we don't take an application, or New Directions doesn't take an application. So that's why I would like to figure out what's going on with that particular client.
Okay, I appreciate that. And then the other thing I wanted to ask was about it's gone off the screen, the lawnmowers and all of that. Is that like you rent them from that agency or what?
Yeah, it's actually, it's free. It is for neighborhood groups that are interested in doing cleanups on their blocks or in their neighborhoods. And so they would reserve it through essentially us or through the land bank. And Codes and Reg takes it out. They drop the trailer. You can see the trailer, what that looks like there. And it's filled with lawnmowers and safety equipment and tree weed whackers. I'm trying to think of the right word for those. Right word for that. Weed eaters, thank you. Weed eaters, sorry about that. It's just started. I think we've done two events, but we had a lot of interest. So it's, a lot of times people on a block, maybe they don't own a lawnmower, or maybe their lawnmower is broken, or whatever. This is a way that, that a neighborhood group can bring this trailer and have it for a day or two and clean up their block.
And help some of our citizens, senior citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did have a program that I paid Elder Serve, and they brought a crew out, and all the seniors that needed their yard cleaned or whatever, they took care of that. But I didn't continue the program because it got to the place I didn't have as many seniors. Well, and then after I stopped the program, everybody came and said, "Do you have a program where somebody come cut my grass or whatever?" So hoping Donna get it started again. So, but I think that's, do we have any other questions or concerns? You okay, Ms. Ward? Are you, Councilwoman? I think everybody's got their questions or concern answered. But I will talk to you about the young lady.
Yes, please.
Well,
Yes.
young lady, I call her.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Okay, well, if we have nothing else, then we are adjourned. Okay, thank you.